So I have a message for you people who are watching. Don't have sex because it could be bad. I mean, if you want to wear protection, that's one thing. But in this case, it's not going to help you. So just don't. Just don't have sex at all. Stay away. Cross it out. So I am back doing another horror movie review for day 8 of the 31 Days of Horror Challenge. And we are going to talk about a creepy ass film with an interesting plot, an original plot. It Follows. This movie feels like a throwback to 80s horror. It's got this really cool soundtrack uh, with this music where something is following a certain person and the music is just boing 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 boing, like it's so cool. That is really what shines in this movie is the music. But I want to say, like, for the story, the plot of this, it's kind of like what you would do in the movie The Ring when you watch the videotape. The girl gives you 7 days to live, and then she comes after you. She comes out of the well and comes to kill you. This um, is kind of like this. The concept is there. It's almost like you shouldn't do this. Like if you do this, you're gonna pay the consequences, basically. So this movie is basically if you have sex with somebody, the person you have sex with, um, they are being followed by this entity for no rhyme or reason. They're just being followed, and this entity can basically morph into different people, whatever it chooses. If it wants to be a woman, if it wants to be a guy, if it wants to be naked, it doesn't matter. It tries to trick you, but you can always tell that this entity is different from other people just standing around because this thing just does not stop coming after you. And I think that is what scares me the most about this movie is that you could never escape this thing. It is said that in this movie that no matter how fast you go or drive away from it, it will eventually catch up to you. And like if you're driving a car and you drive, let's say, an hour away, it is still following you, but it's walking. So it might take a while. It might take days before it even gets to you. But the point is, it will get to you. So I think that is the most terrifying thing, not knowing where it is or when it's going to show up. Yeah, that is ultimately terrifying. The only thing I would do, I would like climb up a damn tree with my back towards something so I could see, so it can't come up behind me and just see. That is, ugh, God. But yeah, so it revolves around this girl. This girl goes out on a date with this guy. They go to the movies, and then this guy freaks out, and he's like, you know what? He's like, let's get out of here. And so they leave, and they end up having sex, and that's basically the scene right there. They're having sex, and so he basically he knocks her out like with this, I don't know, it's like chloroform or whatever it is, and he ties her up and he takes her to this like abandoned like apartment complex, and he tries to tell her like something's going to happen, there's going to be this thing that follows you. And sure enough, you look down in a distance and there's this naked girl walking up, and she's looking at them, and she just keeps walking towards them and he's like, "Do you see it?" He's like, "Do you see it?" And she's like, "Who is that?" So so here's the thing. So if you have, so let's say you have this entity following. The only way to pass it on is if you have sex with somebody. Now, when you have sex with somebody, that person will be stalked by the entity. However, you will still be able to see it, which I think is interesting. Now, if that entity kills that person that you've had sex with, if it kills it or kills that person, that entity will come back after you. It's like you got to keep passing on. Just like in The Ring, when you have the tape and you watch the tape, the only way to get it off of you to somebody else is if you have somebody else make a copy and watch the copy, and then they got to make the copy. You got to keep making copies. Um, but I think that's actually a lot safer than this because the entity, like I said, the entity could kill this person and then kill that person, and then come back to you eventually. It will never stop, and that's the thing. That's the most terrifying to me. I would want to stop this thing somehow. They do try in this movie, but anyway, she can see this, and so can he. But it's not stalking him; it's stalking her now because he had sex with her. So basically, the whole I want to say the middle part of this movie is her trying to deal with this thing, and her friends and her sister are trying to cope with her and trying to figure out like what is she. They can't see this thing; only she can see it. So they're kind of like confused on what she's talking about. Like, wait, we don't see anything. Like, what are you talking about? So you know they're having trouble believing everything. So there's times where she sees this thing and she tries to run. I think one of the creepiest parts is when she's at school and she looks out the window and she sees this old person walking towards her, and then she goes in the hallway and it's walking in the hallway, and that's like one of the creepiest moments. But there are other ones like with this tall guy, this really tall, like 6'5" or 6'6" guy. Um, there's one where they go to like a lake house and try to get away. Um, yeah, so they try to figure out how to stop this thing uh, physically. Like they're trying to figure out if they can kill it. Now, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but there are a few things that the way this movie ends, it's kind of questionable on what they did, like to try to stop it. I'm just kind of like, like I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know. They don't really see. The thing is, I think it's scarier not knowing. There really is no information about this entity. There's really nothing about it. It's just there, and it's like they don't know what to do. They're sitting there trying to figure it out. Can we shoot it? Can we do this? Can we do that to it? So yeah, this movie, I'd have to say it just creeped me out more than any of these other films that have to do with like entities because this one just doesn't stop. But I think the whole sex thing is a little weird. There is a part where you see the entity kill somebody and the entity's on top of them like getting like intimate or something, like rubbing themselves on the person, basically draining them of their life source, and you get to kind of see that a little bit. So that was like the first time you get to see like what it does when it kills you. Um, so yeah, that was all. I mean, guys, like, look, this movie is awesome. It is creepy. Um, there's really nothing like it other than the concept of like The Ring, you know. But awesome. It Follows, always one of my favorites. That was my pick for day 8. So, what did you guys think of It Follows? Let me know in the comments. What did you think of my review? Let me know as well. Hope you're enjoying these. I'll be back for day 9 of the 31 Days of Horror Challenge. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys for subscribing, for sticking with me. for all the nice comments, and all my really cool friends out there that I met here on YouTube. Thank you very much. And so, yeah, stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh, I saw something up. Did you guys see that in the window? Or is that just a reflection? Oh.